Warning! This program contains irrefutable facts, unapologetically biased opinions, and shameless homerism for the Southeastern Conference and its teams. Misguided fans of other leagues and teams may find some of the information in this broadcast to be disillusioning, deflating, or even offensive.
Hey, welcome back to the starting lineup. I'm Tony Curry.
Keefer, we're ready to go.
We are ready to go. It's been quite a crazy week. Coming up on the big show today, of course, we have Keefer. We're going to go out in the desert, get all those great plays. College football, just about 5 weeks away. Cannot wait. Of course, the game in Dublin coming up on August 23rd. We have games right here, ABC with the SEC. Every single Saturday, 11 o'clock, and we're, of course, on from 10:30, 11 o'clock, so you can watch us first, get all your information here in your local schools, not to mention, of course, the SEC and more. We'll do that all football season long, talk about the NFL action as well. And, of course, we also have some breaking news. Actually, it happened a couple days ago, but Hulk Hogan passed away this week.
That's shocking.
Ozzy Osbourne passed away this
knew
week.
that.
I know some people say they come in thirds, and speaking of threes, and I wanted to mention this, probably not the best way to
I'm just checking my pulse. Go ahead.
Checking your pulse. But we'll give you the top three coaches.
Yeah.
Hopefully they won't die in threes, but we'll have the top three coaches at the end of the show with legends. So we're looking forward to. I know it's really easy to take Ryan Day. You could sit there, and of course Nick Saban's no longer coaching. You can say Kirby Smart. I'm hoping. I went with two that I think aren't going to surprise too many, and then I had to go off the board.
And I'm right with you. Same thing.
So we're going to go off the board. We'll do that. It should be really
fun.
And
I've got Terry Quillian's picks, and she did the same thing as we did. We've got two established and one surprise.
Fantastic. I've got I call it an up-and-comer. An up-and-comer.
All right.
A coach that probably a lot of people, you may know him by name, but I think everyone's going to know him in about 5 or 10 years.
That's great.
He's going to be pretty amazing stuff. For us to lose, and you know, we do a lot of good things. You never know who's going to be on the show, right? So last week we had, of course, our good friend on, the drummer, Chris Fryer from the Zach Brown Band, and they're all over the news this week because they got this big show. Tell them about what's going on.
We absolutely scooped the Fox News channel, who had Zach Brown on this morning as their hyped up special guest, and he came on to talk about the show in Las Vegas at the Sphere in December. They've had 4 dates scheduled. Now they've added 2 more shows the first week of January because ticket sales are blowing up because Zach Brown. And I was trying to get Chris to kind of talk about this a little bit last week, but maybe he didn't even know how grandiose the plans are. Zach Brown described that he's so intrigued by the Sphere's facility, which is so different than any place else in the world as far as a venue. It's got 160,000 speakers. It's got 4 acres of video capacity.
Unbelievable.
He says that they've been going to every show and studying this facility for 16 months and preparing their show. And he said it's going to be the transition to Zach Brown Band's final phase of their career, basically, to reset their entire destiny. And I got pumped up just listening to his playing because nobody's really utilized this one-of-a-kind facility to its full capacity yet. And he says they're absolutely going to do it, so I can't wait.
There are bands that want to play there.
And I'm not even a huge Zach Brown Band fan.
Well, I am, and I've known Chris for a long period of time, and he was a sweetheart. We went out and had a nice lunch afterwards.
What a great guy.
What a great guy. He's open about everything. But there's bands now that are saying that you don't have to pay us. We want to play the Sphere. We want to be part of this. Now, I'm not saying the U2s of the world, the Rolling Stones and likes, are those bands, but it's like the Super Bowl. Bands want to play the Sphere. And I'm also hearing that there's some construction going on with 3 potential other Spheres.
Yeah, one in London, I know.
One in London. I think they're talking about Paris. So there may be Spheres in other parts of this country as well. So it's just unbelievable. When you told me 160,000 speakers, two's never enough.
That's hard to believe.
Is probably pretty good. So we're really, really happy to have him on last week. So we do entertainment. And I know, of all the rock and rollers, one of the reasons I started my Tony Curry Radio Network was because I knew that all these guys were in their late 60s, 70s, even 80s. Paul McCartney's 80. Rod Stewart's playing here in the next couple of weeks. He's 80 years old. We just had Ozzy pass away at the age of 76. But I knew that all these guys were going to be gone. But I didn't know we were going to lose 2 big dogs in 1 week. That's huge.
Well, and these guys transcended what they were known for. Okay, rock star Ozzy Osbourne, professional wrestler Hulk Hogan. These guys were social icons. These guys were people that defined the times they lived in. They went beyond their vocations and what they were famous for. Hulk Hogan was all over the recent election. He became a huge Trumper and was at all the Republican convention and was a celebrated guy. Remember, he ripped his shirt off still
in good shape for 71. He looked pretty good.
I'll say. So I'm actually shocked at his passing. I guess a lifetime of utilizing steroids and other things to get that appearance may catch up. But the fact is, all of us, no matter what age we are day to day. You have to approach life that way. And right up to the very end, Hulk Hogan and Ozzy, very visible and very involved in all of the different things that they were into, and right up to the very end, we're still very relevant individuals.
The one thing they both did incredibly well, I don't know if they did it really well or their camps did it really well. When you're talking about Ozzy Osbourne, I'll never forget in 1982, I was in high school, I was just starting radio, he bit the head off the bat. That's something that will go down in music, rock and roll lore. It's like the biggest, best story of all time. There's only one that even comes close, and that's the Led Zeppelin shark story. If you ever Google Led Zeppelin shark story, do it after the show, you'll be surprised what you read. But it's just an amazing thing that he was into illicit drugs for he got kicked out of the band twice. He started his own thing. He got with the right people, the right producers, obviously Die Every Madman, Blizzard of Oz, all those great records. And then he fell back in, decided to go ahead and retire. And his wife, Sharon, who he tried to kill twice, one time looked at her from across the couch and said, "You must go."
Oh, jeez.
And she's like, "What?" And he goes, "You must go," and chased her around the house with a knife. And then to turn it into the Osbournes, into this multimedia thing where he was worth more than, I remember he was up in Huntsville. He did the Osbourne show, and they were down at Sloss Furnaces. And he had to put an astronaut suit on. And it was just a blast to see him. He also went down to Legion Field where Alabama State, of course, their band played Crazy Train for him. And, of course, he stood up and just thought it was fantastic. But the marketing machine, the well-oiled marketing machine behind an Ozzy Osbourne and a Hulk Hogan and some of these other reality stars that have just really reinvented themselves. Hulk Hogan could have been gone 30 years ago. Ozzy Osbourne should have been gone 20 years ago.
The over-under on Ozzy was like 49 and a half.
And the guy just played a show 2.5 weeks ago. I mean,
in Birmingham, England.
3 weeks ago, and I got a very good friend of mine, Josh Claypo, who's over in the UK right now. They're closing the streets, and they're talking about changing the name of the airport to the Oz Landing, man.
That is incredible.
The Ozzy Landing. So, I mean, it looks like it might happen. So, we lost two really
And he transcended
stars.
Generations. My son, Case, who we see here every week on the show, from the time he was 13 to the time he was in his early 20s, went to 11 Ozfests.
Wow.
And the highlight of that was at the very end, the last 2 hours, was Ozzy, playing all of his great songs, and had this collection of unbelievable talent. These were like 12 and 13-hour, marathon shows. And he went to 11 of them.
Got a chance to see him. I talked to him. I mentioned this was on another television station earlier this week. I did an interview with him here in Birmingham in 1990, and he was on with me for 30 minutes, and he dropped 7 F-bombs, and I never realized it. I never knew. My boss was like, "How long are you going to let this go on?"
Hunter Biden broke that record this week.
I said I had no clue because I couldn't understand what he was saying half the time. It was fantastic. But of all the concerts I've seen, and I've seen thousands, I know you have too. I've seen thousands of concerts. The most debauchery-filled concert I've ever seen was Ozzy Osbourne at Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky in 1988. It was a show that I will never forget.
Wow.
It's entrenched in my mind. I'm not going to share it with you, but it's what made me want to get rock and roll. It's what made me want to get a sex, drugs, and rock and roll tattoo on my shoulder. Thank God I never did. My kids would never understand it. But we lost 2 big ones, and hopefully they don't come in.
Giants. I mean, it literally one giant. And
when you see wrestling, it's Hulk Hogan and everyone else. I mean, period. I mean, Andre the Giant. I mean, I don't know if you go, Randy Savage. I don't even know what you go with. But you talk the Rock. I mean, I guess you go with him. But when you talk about the number one guy in wrestling, period, which is a $14.1 billion enterprise every single year, it's Hulk Hogan for you.
Yeah, I know he was still, and I don't know how involved, but he was still like involved in some like WrestleMania things last year where he'd come in the ring and throw somebody around and all that. I mean, this guy was active till the last day.
We don't have Hulk, but we do have the legend. He's coming up here as well as Case, giving us all kinds of great picks and stuff in the desert right here in the starting lineup.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino turns dreams into reality. Like Roger M., who just won over $51,000. And Rebecca, celebrating a life-changing jackpot of $160,000. You could be the next to dance the Icky Shuffle with a big win.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Don't miss your chance to be our next big winner at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Oh, welcome to the Legend Cave. There's Monty Bauer, the Terry Bradshaw, the show. Hit me right there. Like
he was the backup for that Steeler team.
He was right there. If he wasn't 5'5", he would have made it. I'll tell you the truth. We love Monty Bauer. He's the man. He had a great arm in the backyard. You remember David Legend? When I catches them passes. Tony here in the Legend Cave, we 28 days away. Was you a superstar in the backyard, brother?
Oh man, I cannot believe that we are 4 weeks away from college football. I don't care if they're playing Dublin. I don't care if they're playing in our backyard. I just want them to play. I want all this house crap to go away. I want to play football, man. Let's get it on.
Get it on. Kip, 28 days away. The SEC media down a week in the rear end. I would just like to ask both of y'all. We addressed this morning. Kip brought it up on Game Time. If you could have asked one question that wasn't asked at SEC Media Days, Tony, who would it have been to and what would it have been?
I'd have Steve Sarkisian. Are you a virgin?
Bear, cover your ears, Bear, cover your ears. Kip, what would have been the one question, and who would it have went to?
I would have asked Steve Sarkisian, but I wouldn't ask him that. I would have asked Steve Sarkisian, why did you have the Heisman Trophy favorite this year on the sidelines, first and goal at the half-yard line in the semifinals of the national championship tournament, and you stuck with an injured 7th-round draft pick in Quinn Ewers? That's the kind of question somebody needed to ask.
You know, it pulls to mind the question. Kip brings up a great point. Everybody's got arch mania. It's all down here in Alabama. We got Ty Simpson mania down here in Alabama, all right? But everybody's got arch mania. They didn't even play the man in the playoffs, Tony. No. If he's all that, why wasn't he the quarterback last year?
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I am not going to question what Steve Sarkisian is doing right now in Texas because he was washed up seven years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Until he came and started doing
one of the great comebacks of all time.
One of the greatest comes back from USC to Alabama. What he's doing with Texas right now, he has brought back that culture. Texas is going to be, as long as Steve's there, I can't believe I'm saying this, Texas is going to be a playoff team every year he's there.
I like it. Kip, what is another question that you would have threw at SEC Media Day that the fans did not get to hear that you would want to say?
I think I would ask Mark Stoops. Mark, you're the dean of SEC coaches with a 28-63 conference record. Are you a magician? How do you do that?
Is Kentucky do they even have a football team? That's a basketball school, ain't it?
That's what John Calipari said, and he's right.
I think I'd have to ask Hugh Freeze, is Auburn a basketball school now? Or
No, Auburn, did you hear that? No, you don't watch this show. You don't watch the Legend. You don't like the Bruce Pearl. But hey, listen right here. I would say this right here to Auburn. That's what I would say to Auburn. Tony, if you had another question for the SEC Media Days that wasn't asked, what would it have been?
Oh, my goodness. It would have to be to Kalen DeBoer, and I'd just say, listen, how well are you sleeping at night? Because they had lost 4 games in 18 years.
He got one of them purple mattresses.
He probably does. What's the old commercial? How do you sleep at night?
Yeah, how do you sleep at night
on a mattress firm?
I'm not sleeping well. I can tell you. Maybe sleep well, Coach DeBoer. Kipper, what's another question that you would have thrown out there, brother?
Josh Heupel, I have a question.
Josh Heupel.
You had the generational quarterback, the savior, Nico. We couldn't pronounce his last name, but Nico was going to take Tennessee to the promised land. The next Conrad Holloway, the next great Big Orange era. How's Nico shaping up for this year at UCLA?
28 days away, ladies and gentlemen. Tony, get out of here, man. Get out of here. Gil, we got 30 seconds, brother. You tell them what everybody in the nation needs to know. The starting lineup's blowing up. Don't be like the starting lineup. Tune in all year. Don't be like us, because we're plumb sports insane.
Great sponsors on great TV shows. Make it all just, we talked about that fine old machine. SPS, Southern Precision Staffing, 205-682-2828. 205-682-2828. Great staffing. If you're a welder, you're into skill work, you're looking for work, or you have a place where you need workers, Southern Precision Staffing is the way to go.
What if you have no skills at all?
If you have no skills at all, that is the place you need to call. Call Kai Gregory.
Outstanding. I'll give them a call after the show.
205-682-2828. They've been in business for a long time. They do great work. They're right here in Hoover, Alabama, but they serve the United States of America. So you can call them 24 hours a day. They're fantastic. And, of course, Kai Gregory, a good friend of ours. We'll have him back on the show here as we get ready for college football season. Also, of course, our good friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. I always want to mention them. Stuart, still waiting for you to come in. I got you a massage, by the way, waiting down there at the Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Go down there and check out.
Well, I need a lot smaller table now, so that's good.
You do. You probably could get 2 massages in one. Yeah. K4 wins. Tell everybody about our numbers. I had a hard time this past week because you and I picked plays. We went 9-3 one particular night, but somehow we had a losing night because you and I were on opposite sides of something, so I wasn't quite sure how that went down.
Well, and the proprietor, the aforementioned Kai Gregory, sometimes makes executive decisions that don't go our way. But all that being set aside, the overall record is phenomenal, close to 70% win rate against spreads. We don't just pick winners like the game day guys. Oh, yeah, I like Ohio State to beat the Little Sisters of the Poor.
Exactly.
That's great, Kirk. I'm so proud of you. But basically, we tell you not only about the games, but we tell you the best strategies for you to be a winner. And, Tony, you've partaken enough in your storied life. Tell folks how much more fun it is to win than to come up empty.
The wife doesn't mind you gambling on weekends. It doesn't matter whether you do it through FanDuels. It doesn't matter whether you're doing it through us. It doesn't matter where you're doing it. She doesn't like it when you don't win. So if you're coming up with a little extra cash, put some in the freezer and then give her a little bit. She'll let you do whatever you want. K4wins.com. K4wins.com, free website. You can subscribe to it and get after it right here.
And download the TKR app and listen to our podcast twice a week now.
Yep.
On TKR, Tony Curry Radio. Don't miss it. It's great
on
entertainment.
The Coastal Sports Network.
Coastal Sports.
We're all up and down the coast.
I'm seeing a lot of correspondence from people that are hearing our show in Ohio and Boston and other places like that.
We're nationwide, and we're bad.
All right, well, you saw the disclaimer at the top of the show about being just unapologetically biased toward the SEC. One of our other great shows, Game Time on Jocks, fits that bill. Here's a quick word from that show.
Well, Terry, the Tide is in Baton Rouge on a Saturday night, always a tough test against LSU. A critical game on the schedule. The offense lately sort of sputtering and inconsistent. I'm sure Coach DeBoer is tuned in. What would you tell him needs to happen for Alabama to come out with a big win?
Alabama needs to get back to running the football. This is absurd. They're trying to make Jalen Milroe into a pocket passer. The man is a phenomenal athlete. Turn him loose. Also, it wouldn't hurt to give the ball to Haynes and Miller and make that LSU defense prove that they can stop them.
And tonight in college football, Alabama gets a resounding win in Baton Rouge, demolishing the LSU Tigers, 42-13. Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe was unleashed and dominated the Tigers with a career high of 185 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns.
When it's game time, everybody is listening.
Hey, it's Case Keefer back again for another edition of the Vegas Heaters. I am a longtime sports bettor and sports betting writer, along with assistant sports editor for Greenspun Media Group, which includes Las Vegas Sun and Las Vegas Weekly. And yes, it is football from here on out as far as this betting-centric segment from here till the end of the year. I expressed a little bit of hesitation last week, not wanting to go fully into football coming off of a losing week when we dealt with all our other sports. Well, I don't have that to worry about anymore because for the second straight year, we've built a portfolio throughout the year on all 4 golf majors, and we hit another one last week in the Open Championship. Scotty Scheffler, I believe I gave him out. Feels like a little bit weird to celebrate when he was the clear short shot, the clear favorite, but right after the PGA Championship. I said bet him in the next 2 majors, plus 550 in the Open Championship at the time. I honestly thought it was more likely he'd won the U.S. Open, and we got a surprise winner in the Open. But hey, I said bet both of them, plus 550. Hopefully you made a healthy wager on that and came home with a big cash, as I know I did. So 2 out of 4 majors we hit this year on the show. The Masters, we bookended the Masters and the Open Championship. Not quite last year where we went 3 out of 4 and just were that Rory collapse away from hitting the U.S. Open, but we'll take 2 out of 4 majors with a big ROI every time. So let's get to football. You know I try to keep it topical to Las Vegas the best I can, and the big thing going on this week, at least in the college football world, Big Ten Media Days at Mandalay Bay. Now, I was credentialed. I was planning to get down there, and it just hasn't happened. That's largely because the Raiders training camp has started. That's been taking all my time. We're going to talk a lot of NFL in this segment, but I'm not quite ready yet, so I thought stick with college football for one more week. I'm going to give you 2 teams I'm buying on in the Big Ten and 2 teams I'm selling on. Not included in that group is one team I've already talked about a lot in this segment. I love Penn State this year. They are the team I want to back, that I want to get exposure to, and I've already gotten a lot of exposure to at the top of the futures market, so I want to include them. I think you know how I feel there. I went for more of the mid-range of teams I'm buying and selling, and it kind of worked geographically too, because the 2 teams I'm buying, West Coast teams, the 2 teams I'm selling, more there in the middle of the country. So let's get straight to it. The 2 buy-on teams, 2 teams I'm betting over on their win totals, expecting a big leap this year. From out here in the West, USC and Washington, their win totals both at 7.5. A lot different juice here. I think my biggest win total on the conference is I bet USC over 7.5 minus 125. Washington more plus money. I think I bet over 7.5 plus 116. We'll start with USC. The Trojans last year, I think there's a lot of noise in the program, people saying that this is over. I'm telling you, the rumors of their demise are greatly exaggerated. You go back and look at last year, I think they lost 3 games in the final minute. They were just finding ways to lose games. Their underlying metrics were way better than their 7-5 end result. They had the best defense they've had under Lincoln Riley. I don't think people realize just how bad the defense was that was backing up Caleb Williams in his 2 years. They're literally one of the worst Power 5 defenses. Now they're on the up. They got a lot of guys back. They hit in the transfer portal again. Got some really good weapons, reloaded at running back again. The big question to me is Jaden Maeva at quarterback. But hey, say what you want about Lincoln Riley. I know it's been a topic of conversation here. The one area where I am going to trust him is developing quarterbacks. Look at all the NFL guys he's produced. Heisman Trophy, #1 picks. I think he can help Jaden Maeva take that next level, so I like USC over 7.5. As for Washington, a coach I actually maybe am a little bit more confident in, Jed Fish. You saw him turn around Arizona quickly, and he had nothing left when he took over there. He took over a terrible situation. Washington is not a terrible situation. They had a lot of talent left. He's added to it. I think that starts at the quarterback position with Damon Williams, who I think is one of the more underrated electric dual threat quarterbacks in the nation. I really think Seattle is a huge home field advantage. Didn't come through last year. I think it will this year. They play most of the best teams in the conference. Look for some upsets there. So give me Washington over 7.5. I got plus 116. Look for something in that plus money range, and USC over. As far as the unders, appropriately, again, both at 8.5. I'm going selling to go with the buy and sell theme. I'm selling on both Indiana and Illinois. Now, Illinois coming off a great year, kind of the hype team. Pick #4 in the poll here this week at Big Ten Media Days. I just don't really buy Luke Altmaier being this great quarterback. He lost basically all his receivers. Now, I know they were active in the transfer portal, got some new guys in they're excited about. I'm not fully buying it. They won a lot of close games, the kind of the games USC lost. I think it regresses this year. I think they'll be more that 6-6, 7-5 range. Indiana, long-term, I am buying on. I totally believe in Kurt Signetti. I don't think it was just a total fluke last year. They did take advantage of an easy schedule, but I just think it's tough to hit in the transfer portal so hard 2 years in a row. I think you can expect some regression this year. 8.5 is a high bar. I remember on this show last year, I gave out over 5.5 wins Indiana. That cashed no problem. Now you have to go up 3 more wins when you lost a lot of the best players off that team. Under 8.5. Final topic, leading into the rest of the guys, talk about your 3 favorite coaches in college football. I'm not a big ring cultures guy. I don't really care about, you tell me national championships matter so much, but I have to kind of give in this time and seed with the guys that have gotten to the mountaintop. I'm not going to give Kirby Smart and Ryan Day their dues. Honestly, I'm kind of hesitant about it, as I think they both started in really great situations, but I guess you have to say, hey, they took advantage of it. For my third spot, actually surprising, but I am really torn between Dan Lanning and Kalen DeBoer. I think DeBoer's had the higher highs, the Fresno State program he took over, what he did at Indiana, even as offensive coordinator before he was a head coach, bringing Washington to the national championship. But there is a black mark a little bit for last year, especially the Oklahoma game. I don't think Lanning has those black marks yet. I think in the future, if I could hire one coach to be my coach for years to come, it'd probably be Dan Lanning. So I'm going to go reluctantly Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, and Ryan Day as the 3 best coaches in college football. Let's see what the other guys have to say.
Yeah, I know your boy's always going long shots. I mean, he's always looking at good value on things. In this particular case, I think he went straight chalk on his 3 coaches.
Yeah, he didn't get too creative with this list.
No. I tried to come with 2 and then something off the board, maybe an up-and-comer. We're looking for the 3 best college football coaches. We need Legend's thought on this as well.
Or as Legend framed it, and it's probably would have been a better way to do it. If you had to hire a coach tomorrow for your college football program, who would you go get?
And who would you get?
The top 3.
Legend, who would you get?
I would want to talk, first of all, to Lane Kiffin. The second person I would want to talk to would be Deion Sanders.
Yep.
And the third person I would talk to, I would beg Miss Terry to let Nick Saban come back. Those are the 3 coaches that I would want to talk to. It's about who would you want. It ain't about Kirby to me. It's about who I would want. And those are the 3 that I would want to talk to.
And you are right on target. Talking to Nick would be a waste of time. Go right to the boss.
Yeah, no doubt.
Miss Terry Saban.
No doubt. Who you got, Kip?
Okay, Legend's going to be a little queasy because I've checked in with the queen of SEC football, Terry Quillian, and she told me to make sure Legend heard her list. Number 1 is Kirby Smart. I know you're shocked. Number 2, Kirby Smart. And number 3, Kirby Smart. She's over her top 3. But then she got serious and said, actually, Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, former Georgia defensive coordinator. And this is a big surprise. Terry has Brent Key, the coach of Georgia Tech. So for a Georgia girl and Brent Key has done a good job because it's hard to win there. My top 3, Tony, I got to go with Kirby on top. I agree with Legend. Lane Kiffin would be my next phone call. And I've got kind of a sleeper, Jeff Brom from Louisville. This is a guy that I am really high on. He was able to win at Purdue, for God's sake.
Is that a UAB?
Exactly. Jeff Brom is a superstar coming up.
Wow.
He's now back at his alma mater. He's got Louisville going in the right direction. So that's the 3 directions
I have another Jeff, and I thought you were going to say it. I thought there's no way in hell he's going to say my Jeff. I'm going Ryan Day, defending champion. He's lost to Michigan 4 years in a row. Still wins the Natty. Who cares about these interstate games or these out-of-state games or these rivalry games? You win a national title, your fan base is super happy. I'm going to go with Dabo. Everyone's been hammering on him for not using the transfer portal. He's going to use it to his advantage this year. He's got loyalty to his team. Clemson's going to win a national title this year. That's why he's the best coach right now. And I'm going with UTSA's, the Roadrunners, Jeff Traylor.
Oh, wow.
Jeff just recently made the Texas Hall of Fame. He is known as the greatest high school football coach in the world. He's even better than Jerry Faust back in the old Moeller days back in Ohio. Remember Cincinnati when Jerry Faust, when he went to Notre Dame and couldn't do squat there? Jeff Traylor's and he's had a winning record every year with the Roadrunners. He goes out of conference and plays D1 schools all the time, and he's been to a bowl game every single year, and he's only about 55. He's got plenty of time to go. He's going to go somewhere big in the next go. I'm going to go with Jeff Traylor as my 3rd coach.
That's a big trend in Texas. McGuire, the coach at Texas Tech, is in his 3rd year. He came right out of the high school ranks.
Yep.
And in Texas, where high school football is pretty much on par with college football.
It really is.
40,000 seat stadiums, Friday night lights. Not a bad way to go.
They'll be the next ones to get paid for sure. That's our 3 coaches. Actually, our 3 or 4. That's our 15 coaches. Then we did 15 coaches in the starting lineup.